Okay, today I'm going to be working on replacing my brake pads and rotors. I'll be using Porterfield R4S pads, and as far as the rotors goes, I'm going to be using the stock OEM centric drilled rotors. So I got the Porterfield R4S directly from Porterfield themselves on their website, and the rotors I got from Rock Auto. Always search for that 5% discount code. It's out there. Pretty easy to find. Alright, so what I'm going to have to do is get my flat jack here and put a little piece of cardboard on top of the jack and use the lift point, which is under the middle of the car, to jack up the car. Okay. First, what we want to do is just make sure we get it slightly up and then break the lugs loose. We're going to go up, get the wheels off the ground. Alright, so we got both wheels off the ground now. Oh, don't want to do that. We'll leave it there. Alright, now we got to get the wheel off. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just jack it up a little more so I can put this jack stand underneath. It is only a temporary solution, so just in case. So I got my instructions from the Sands Mechanical Museum. Great resource. Alright, so we've got the central pin that got to remove, right? And there's a locking spring. So let's go for that. Alright, so we got to get a little punch to push out the retaining clip, which is right here. So just pull the rest of the clip out with some vice grips. The spring came out. So we have to remember that it's like this. So I'm using a 17 mil on a breaker bar. Okay, got this bolt loose. Okay, so with the pry bar, I just kind of loosened some of the pads against the rotors, and you can actually just push these pads out of the way now. Now that you got this one out, you can kind of see the movement here, and we'll loosen the back one, and we should be able to rotate it out of the way. Okay, looks like you can just do this. So what we'll do is that should give us enough clearance to actually get this rotor out of here. So let's loosen this up and see where that takes us. Alright, so we'll need an H4 hex key right here. Okay. And that's the only thing keeping this rotor on. So we'll be able to take the rotor off. Okay, there we go. Old rotor off. Let's take a look at it. You can tell that the material in here has really been worn down. Alright, let's get the new one out. Alright, so here's my new rotors. Look pretty nice. Let's look at the old one. Should do nicely. Alright, let's put this new one on. Porterfields. Okay, these are the rear pads. The front pads look different. Yeah, these are the front pads. Nice. So let's get my brake tool out. So this type of design has to go into these little holes to help turn it. Which is kind of annoying. Yeah. I'm gonna clear this out, clean this up a little bit, and come back. You know, compared to this, I would say, you know, it's still got plenty of life left, but you know, I'm taking it to the track, and I'd rather just get an idea of what it's like right now before it gets any worse. So yeah. Just remember, you're going to want to keep an eye on the brake fluid level, because when you're pushing the calipers, the piston back together, it's pushing brake fluid back up. So let's continue to get this going, and we'll press the piston back in and then fit the new rotor and pads. Alright, so basically what I did was I put the back one pad in first, slid the caliper on loosely, tightened up this, slid in the last outside pad, and now what we're going to do is we're going to tighten up this bolt here, 17 mil, right? So we will tighten up this and come back. Alright, let's try to fit the retaining clip in. Oh. Let's try that again. Let's try to fit the retaining clip in. Don't forget which way the retaining spring goes. You do kind of have to press down a little bit on the springs. Got it through the first side. Okay, got that in good. Now all we want to do is make sure that tap is in good. Alright. So now that's good. Now we'll just tighten everything up and put the wheel back on. Alright, I've got everything tightened back up. Now to put the wheel back on. Alright guys, now we're going to tackle the fronts. So let's get the front wheel off. Alright, so this system is a little bit easier because the brake caliper doesn't use the rotation tool, but the front caliper does look and is a lot different. So let's have at it. Just in case, we've got the fail-safe jack stand under here. Right now, let's take a look at what the Sands Mechanical Museum has to say. This one, we need to remove these small retaining clips. So, just gonna get my needle nose in there and pull out. Put that aside, and then pull out on these back here as well. Alright. Now what we do is we pop these suckers out. Let's get a hammer and a punch tool. My ghetto punch tool. Alright. Should be able to pull this out with some vice grips. Let me get some, actually. So a little bit of leverage. Okay. So this is the spring, and it's pretty annoying to put back in. So it's with that one out, This one's easy to take out. And then what we'll do is we'll loosen the caliper a little bit, and you can tell that the retaining clips do a lot to hold these pads in. So let me get the pry bar. Alright, so once you pry it out, you just wiggle them out, and then press the caliper piston in a little more. This one is just pressing, so you don't really need too much effort. Don't forget to check the brake level. Alright, it's not coming up. Now, unfortunately, I screwed up, and I let the pad slip back down that way. So what I'm going to do is take the rotor off, replace it, and get the pad out. Alright, so got that out. I had to use a punch tool. When you hammer it, it kind of sends some shock down there and helps loosen it up. So now we got to get the caliper out. So I've got a 8mm hex or Allen key, and then we'll get the other one down here out. All right, now that we got this loosened, I should be able to take these off. All right, with screws that were pretty hard to take out, you want to clean them up and then put some anti-seize on it. I don't know if you heard me, but yeah, with bolts and screws that are hard to take out, you want to clean them up on a wire wheel or something, and then put some anti-seize on it before you put it back. All right, now that I've got it cleaned up and put some anti-seize on it, I'm going to screw it back in. Alright, just hand tighten it for now. And then what we'll do is we'll get the new pads and slide them in, and then put it all back together. Alright, let's compare the old ones and the new ones. So yeah, I definitely needed new front pads. If you look here and see the comparison, right, I was getting dangerously close on these. So, yep, let's get the new one in there, and yeah, put it all back together. So, we might need to just push the piston in a tiny bit more. Double check the fluid here, and I'm getting pretty close to the top, so put the pad in this way, just slide it in just like that, and then get the other pad, and hopefully it'll just slide right in here. Guess not. Let's put this piston in just a little bit more. Alright, got them in. Just tap them in gently. Alright, so now we got to use these clips and put everything back. Very annoying. But before that, let's tighten down these, and get back when that's done. Okay, now that we got these back together, now we got to put the retaining clips and stuff back in. Let me go this way. Oh, alright. So that one's good. Now, that's the tricky part, because what we have to do is kind of bend this down while we're putting this clip in. Word of advice, you have to kind of finagle some of the pads backwards and forwards, because there's nothing really keeping them in until you put the retaining clips in. So you kind of have to move it from the sides and the back. So let's get a little bit of help to push this retaining clip, and then get this pin in there. All right, so now we can just tap it in a little bit. Then when we get to this side, we also need to apply some pressure this way. When we tap it in even further, then we got to try to guide it, which is another annoying part. So I got lucky there, and it was pretty easy that time. And then we'll put the tiny retaining clips back in. And once we're done, put the wheel back on. Alright, one retaining clip in. And where did I put the other one? There it is. Alright, all done here, and then we'll put the wheel back on. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. Like, subscribe, comment below, and yeah, if you own a Lotus, have you done this? If so, how hard did you have of a time to get these clips back in? Alright, well, surprisingly it was a lot easier to get the rotor on and off, I still have to tighten this before putting that on, but yeah, great. So one more thing, if you want it to bleed, now would be a good time. I've already bled the brakes within the last 6 months, and so I should be good on that. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned. Bye.